Welcome to the V2X Files video series. I'm Balázs Tóth, Communication Specialist at Carmakers. In this episode, we will cover the topic of V2X-based tolling, a new and future-proof opportunity for road operators and car makers. Our experts will answer questions displayed in front of them on a monitor. Enjoy!
Hello everyone, this is Szabi Patai, I'm Chief Revenue Officer at Carmakers.
I'm Alex Badic, System Engineer at Carmakers.
We are here today to talk about V2X-based tolling and to answer all your questions in this topic. So let's get started.
Let's jump to the questions.
So the first question is, what properties make V2X a viable solution for tolling?
The radio technology we use for V2X is tuned in a way that it can handle thousands of messages per second, for receiving all the kind of messages from hundreds of cars around you. So it can handle thousands of messages per second from hundreds of meters away with speed differences up to 200, 300 kilometers per hour. Because that's where it has to work for the safety use cases to work. And these properties are way better than what we need for tolling.
Besides the reliability, let's talk about the interoperability topic. So to make it a viable solution, it has to be interoperable. So there's multiple vendors today providing legacy tolling infrastructure solutions and legacy onboard units for toll collection, which are these standalone boxes for only toll payments. With V2X, this is a truly standardized solution that is coming. So SA working groups, for example, are working to have a fully standardized solution that can be rolled out globally. And this is ensuring that this is a superior solution because immediately one vehicle can negotiate toll payments anywhere where the infrastructure is using these global standards. What tolling solutions exist now? There's tons of legacy solutions. In some places you still need to use cash, coins. In some countries, some regions, you still need to have a sticker that you put on the windshield. And police is coming and checking the validity of your sticker, that you actually are entitled to use the roads. You cannot really rely on stickers to enforce payments. So maybe let's focus on the electronic solutions for toll collections. And of course there's kind of a middle ground where you have the toll plazas where you need to stop and actually make the payments, maybe with a credit card, something like that. But that's kind of a terrible solution because it's slowing down the traffic and causing traffic jams, and there's a risk of accidents on the highway. So I think the real discussion is between kind of similar solutions that can enable tolling that ensures the free flow of traffic on the highway. Of course, there's these legacy toll tag based solutions like the EZpass, where you need to put the device in the vehicle and then you need to build the expensive infrastructure for each lane to detect the vehicles that are passing by and to be able to read those toll tags to make the payment. There's also solutions which are using cameras where you need to have appropriate visibility conditions in order to be able to read the license plates of the vehicles. I think from reliability point of view and convenience and cost efficiency point of view, still we get to the conclusion that V2X message-based tolling is the most reliable and most cost efficient solution working in non-line of sight scenarios as well.
How can you convince the whole tolling industry to adopt a single technology? Well, once there's going to be tens of millions of cars out on the road with V2X inside them, this would be the natural choice. From a cost standpoint and from like a technology standpoint, they will, even if they have current tolling stations, they will be really outdated by then. And to upgrade this is like a logical thing to upgrade towards, and not like the next iteration of the same thing over and over.
Since we bring a comprehensive solution that is more cost efficient, more reliable, and more comfortable than the existing ones, there's going to be a clear trend. So just focusing on the cost efficiency first. Just imagine how much does it cost to build a toll gate, a gantry-based tolling solution with separate toll tag readers and all the steel infrastructure needed and the maintenance costs of that complex electronics solution, and to maintain the structure itself in poor weather conditions. So it's just an exorbitant cost, and we already see that agencies are looking for more cost-efficient solution to replace these. And if you imagine that it can be substituted with a single V2X roadside unit device, which is unifying all the features needed by the or provided by this big legacy gantry-based solution, and for a fraction of the cost is offering much more solutions for safety and traffic analysis and traffic management. I think it's clear that cost efficiency point of view, this is a superior solution. If you look at the vehicle side, if you don't have to install any additional devices, just start driving. Maybe you put the credit card data in on the dashboard and use your vehicle as a mobile wallet, then it's just much more convenient. You have to pay the same tolls, but it's just there and it's just working seamlessly. If you're looking at the incentive from the vehicle manufacturer side, providing this kind of comfort to the vehicle owner, the driver, that the system is just working, and in the same time enable services where you can have the role of kind of an interim mediator of a transaction, and you can get a share of that revenue stream. That's just a huge incentive. So the next question is, how does V2X tolling work? Maybe we can go into that a little bit.
In the technical detail, maybe. Yeah, so V2X tolling actually really simple. The car detects there is an RSU around that broadcast that, hello, this is a tolling road, please pay. This will be received like this is a single message coming from the RSU. The OBU receives this message, prepares the tolling information, packages it into a message, secures it, and sends it out to the RSU. The RSU then forwards it to the central management system that handles the payment and all this information and bookkeeping, and then the central will confirm this payment and send it to the OBU through the RSU with a single message.
How flexible is V2X tolling in using different road usage charge factors? For example, distance or time traveled, weight of the vehicle, and so on. The V2X toll messages that are being used contain all the necessary information about the vehicle in that sense. So the messages contain the vehicle type, the number of axles, potentially the weight of the vehicle, and so on. So automatically these messages are being populated with the data that are relevant to identify what is the charge that needs to be collected from the given vehicle. So the infrastructure side can automatically identify what kind of vehicle is passing by and how much to charge for, and then this is automatically deducted from the account.
And don't forget that the OBUs are always on. They're inside the car while you're driving, and even when there is no RSU around, they can log the distance, they can log the time when they last saw a RSU, on how long they did travel on the road, and if the road operator decides on a road usage based on distance or road usage based on time, they can implement it with the help of the OBU, which does the logging during the travel.
Is V2X a complete tolling solution or rather an upgrade, an added layer to the current systems?
Or if you have a completely new road, then you can spare yourself the whole toll gate stuff. But if you already have, as a road operator, you already have existing infrastructure, you can add this next to it. It can extend current installations. You don't have to tear down all your current infrastructure. And if you let the road users decide on which one is better, they will most probably decide that the V2X based one is better for the reasons we have explained. And you can basically see that slowly you can migrate away from the current even cache-based or EZpass-based solutions towards the V2X ones without disrupting everything at once. So it's both really. It's an upgrade technologically. It's a huge leap actually technologically, but it can be added next to the current ones, and they don't really interfere with each other.
And as the share of the V2X enabled vehicles are increasing, and the number of vehicles which doesn't have V2X solutions are kind of decreasing, you can shift away from selling the legacy toll tags to the vehicles, and you can provide them with aftermarket V2X onboard units for tolling purposes. And maybe for these vehicles, the cost will be kind of similar to what they pay now for these legacy toll tags. But then this will enable them to use these highways, and you can gradually kind of withdraw from maintaining the legacy infrastructure for tolling. And on the other hand, these vehicle owners whom will use these aftermarket V2X onboard units, and they buy it maybe as a primary goal of toll payments, they can enjoy the safety features of these devices in the same time. So again, for the same cost, they get additional services and functionality.
Do we need dedicated V2X lanes like with cache and EZpass? The answer is no, you don't. You have a simple RSU that can cover square kilometers of area with a single device, and it can cover all lanes at once without slowing down or without a gate present.
What are the technical prerequisites of V2X tolling? So what do we need technically to enable or deploy a complete tolling system, focusing first on the infrastructure and then focusing on the vehicle side?
On infrastructure, you will need these roadside units, which are small boxes with antennas. At the car side, you will need onboard units, which will be in every car in the future. But if you encounter a car which doesn't have one, there are aftermarket onboard units which can be installed later, or cheaper ones that can be just put into the car as like a loan or something.
And for the payment transaction processing system, basically you can keep continuity and reuse the existing system that you have. So shifting to V2X is a kind of a technical change on the access media, right?
Yeah, so it's the changing. You don't really need to change your payment system. It's really a change only in the lower levels, but the rest of the system, so everything around bookkeeping and the payment and bank transactions and whatever, it's the same. It's most probably need to be adapted somewhat. So like a small different connector module for the V2X and another one for the older ones, and nothing else is needed.
Yeah. And on the vehicle side, by the car maker, it's a complete new revenue stream that can be tapped for. So, of course, by the car OEM, there's a potential to play an intermediary role in these payment transactions, and to kind of cover that and to capture that opportunity. Of course, they will need to connect the vehicles to a payment backend system.
Is this fraud, fool, and fail-safe? Can V2X help in toll evasion? What I can definitely say is it is at least as fraud-safe as any of the current solutions. The V2X is really integrated into the car, and you don't have these stickers and stuff like that. and it's constantly checked while you're on the road, makes it really hard to evade tolling, because if one packet reaches the RSU, then you know that the car is on the toll road, and then you can do something about that.
And I think here it's maybe worth mentioning that all V2X systems are part of a larger network when there's a public key infrastructure behind. So if anyone would try tampering with the device or tampering with the messages, on the receiving side it's automatically detected, and notification can be sent to the infrastructure operator or the vehicle owner that something went wrong. So there's something to investigate.
One of the classic attacks is spoofing the GPS position of the car. So, pretending that you're not on the highway, but on like the service road. But since the car is already sending and broadcasting some messages about its position anyway for V2X reasons, for the safety reasons, you can, for example, detect the car with a camera and take a look at its messages. And if the two positions don't match, you know that the car is tampered with and there's something wrong with it. The other participants in the network will know that which ones are the faulty ones, and they won't accept any messages from them. So if you're gonna do GPS spoofing, sooner or later it won't work anymore.
What are the advantages of V2X tolling compared to EZpass?
One of them is you don't need to have a pass, because it's built into the car.
Yeah, and you don't need to build the infrastructure per lane.
Yeah, so you don't need to build the gantries either. Yeah,
and that it's not it's working not only with EZpass but with all kinds of solutions because there's a global standard set for tolling messages. So the next question is, are there any existing V2X-based tolling operations now? And when can we expect the implementation of V2X tolling? So the big advantage of this solution can be really utilized when the V2X onboard units are kind of mass-produced in new vehicles, and when it's kind of hitting a penetration that's kind of crucial or makes sense for toll road operators, then the transition away from the toll tax can really start. And these vehicles are coming, and there's already some automotive OEMs which have V2X solutions in their new vehicles, many of them announced, and we see that starting 2024 and 2025, the adoption rate will really steeply go up for V2X enabled vehicles. So still there's 2-3 years that's kind of a preparation and specification time for these infrastructure operators to kind of plan out their strategy and create their strategy to implement V2X based tolling systems.
Yeah, and the clock is really ticking right now for the toll operators, because we have these smart cities popping up like mushrooms everywhere. Even in the EU, but in the US, they have just had a huge, incredibly big infrastructure bill which contains stuff for smart cities. So there's going to be RSUs everywhere in several years. And once you have the RSUs there, once you have the V2X cars there, it's going to be just like a simple software upgrade, a switch to say that, yeah, we're going to do V2X tolling from now on.
Maybe one additional topic that we should cover is just, we are talking a lot about highway segments, but congestions downtown are becoming more and more a problem. In these urban areas, it's really hard to imagine regular, legacy toll collection gantries to be deployed.
How and what else could carmakers build on a V2X tolling system that's already available in their vehicle? It's a business question, I guess. Sabi, you might be able to answer.
Yeah, so besides paying for the actual road segments you are using on a toll road, you can pay for anything, and there's tons of scenarios. For example, use the solution to charge for parking places when you broadcast your position, and you can be identified to be using one parking spot or another. you can pay for electricity at the charging station from the infotainment system, while all the communication is happening wirelessly between your vehicle and the charging station. You can maybe enable road users to use kind of privileged lanes, for example, or use it for congestion charging. Maybe there's even scenarios when you go to your favorite fast food restaurant through the drive-through, and if they have V2X based payments there, then from the dashboard you can settle your bill for the meal that you are ordering. So the possibilities are endless, and it's providing lots of comfort features for the driver and new revenue streams for the car OEMs. Can car makers install tolling later via over-the-air updates?
Yes. Next question. It's really that simple. They just can. It's just a new message type on the same radio. It's not going to be a challenge. It's going to be a software update. Yeah. So every hardware that's necessary for V2X is going to be that's going to be what's needed for the tolling. So once you have the hardware, there's just a software update and you're done. And this is actually true for the RSUs too. So this isn't just car makers, this is for infrastructure too.
But I think it's even better to say that why roll it out through over-the-air updates. So the Consignia software already has these features, so it can be deployed today. And of course, there may be some changes in the standards for V2X toll collection messages, but we are following this closely, and we can provide you an update in a few days after the standards are in place. The new version of the standards are in place.
Basically, yeah.